Imagine being told while you're pregnant that your baby will likely be born disabled. The doctors recommend an abortion. They say the child will suffer, that it's the merciful thing to do. Now imagine refusing. Imagine choosing life. And imagine that baby growing up to become one of the greatest voices the world has ever heard. That's the story of Andrea Bocelli. Andrea was born in 1958 in rural Tuscany, Italy, with congenital glaucoma, severe eye problems from birth. He could see, but barely. His vision was poor and getting worse. When Andrea was 12 years old, he was playing soccer with friends. The ball hit him in the head. It seemed like nothing at first, but that impact caused a brain hemorrhage. When Andrea woke up in the hospital, everything was dark. He was completely blind, forever. Most people would have given up. At 12 years old, to lose your sight completely, to know you'll never see another sunset, never see your parents' faces again, never see the world, it would crush most people. But Andrea's mother, Eddie, had already made one crucial choice. She'd chosen his life when doctors said to abort, and she'd instill in Andrea something that would carry him through darkness. The belief that his limitations didn't define his possibilities. My mother taught me that being blind was not a disability, Andrea later said. It was just a different way of experiencing the world. Andrea couldn't see the piano keys, but he could feel them. He couldn't see the sheet music, but he could hear the melodies in his mind. And when he sang, his voice was extraordinary, rich, powerful, emotive. A voice that would eventually sell over 90 million albums and make him one of the best-selling artists of all time. But success didn't come easily or quickly. For years, Andrea lived a double life, a lawyer by day, singing in piano bars by night, wondering if his dream of being a professional singer would ever come true. He was 34 years old, working odd jobs and performing in small venues, when his big break finally came. When most singers are retiring, Andrea was just getting started. So how does a blind boy from rural Tuscany become one of the greatest tenors in history? How do you build a career in opera, one of the most visual performance arts, when you can't see? And what does it take to believe in yourself when the whole world tells you your dream is impossible? This is the story of Andrea Bocelli, the boy they said shouldn't be born, the teenager who lost his sight, the man who showed the world that some voices shine brightest in the dark. This is Andrea. If you're enjoying this story of resilience and transformation, don't forget to subscribe to Rise Stories. We bring you the real, untold journeys of the world's most iconic figures, the struggles, the failures, and the comebacks that shaped them. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an inspiring story. Now, let's continue with Andrea Bocelli's incredible journey. In 1958, Eddie Bocelli was pregnant, but the pregnancy had complications. Doctors examined her and delivered devastating news. The baby would likely be born with serious disabilities. They recommended an abortion. The merciful thing is to terminate the pregnancy, doctors told her. The child will suffer. You'll suffer. It's better this way. But Eddie Bocelli refused. I believe in life, she said. Whatever God gives me, I'll accept. On September 22, 1958, Andrea Bocelli was born in Lajatico, a small agricultural town in Tuscany. He was born with congenital glaucoma, a condition that caused extremely poor vision from birth. But he could see. Not well, but he could see shapes, light, some colors, enough to navigate the world, though always with difficulty. The Bocelli family wasn't wealthy, but they were loving. Andrea's father, Alessandro, sold farm equipment. His mother, Eddie, was devoted to her children. They lived simply in rural Tuscany, surrounded by vineyards and olive groves. Despite his vision problems, young Andrea was determined to live a normal life. He played with other children. He explored the countryside. And most importantly, he discovered music. At age 6, Andrea heard a recording of Franco Corelli, an Italian tenor singing opera. Something clicked inside him. The power, the emotion, the beauty of that voice. Andrea was mesmerized. "I want to sing like that," young Andrea told his mother. Eddie recognized that her son had a gift. Even as a small child, Andrea's voice was different, clear, powerful, with unusual range and control. She enrolled him in piano lessons. Andrea couldn't see the keys well, but he learned by touch and sound. His piano teacher was amazed at how quickly he progressed. Music came naturally to Andrea. It was like he'd been born to do this. By age 7, Andrea was taking voice lessons. His vocal coach recognized immediately that this child had an extraordinary voice, a voice that could, with training, become truly great. But Andrea's passion wasn't just for singing. He wanted to live a full, normal life despite his vision problems. He played soccer with friends. He rode bikes. He refused to be limited by his disability. And then, at age 12, everything changed. It was a normal day. Andrea was playing soccer with his friends in Lahetico. He was goalie. Someone kicked the ball hard. It hit Andrea directly in the head. At first, Andrea thought he was fine, but soon he developed a severe headache. Then, he started vomiting. His mother rushed him to the hospital. Doctors discovered that the impact had caused a brain hemorrhage. They operated immediately, trying to relieve the pressure. But when Andrea woke up after surgery, he couldn't see anything. Complete darkness. Total blindness. The doctors tried various treatments. Nothing worked. The damage was permanent. At 12 years old, Andrea Bocelli would never see again. "I remember the despair," Andrea later said. "Not just mine, but my parents'. My mother cried for days. But then she made a decision. She wouldn't let me give up." Eddie refused to treat Andrea like an invalid. She insisted he continue his education, continue his music lessons, continue living. "Being blind doesn't mean your life is over," she told him. "It just means you experience the world differently." Andrea enrolled in a school for the blind in Reggio Emilia. There, he learned Braille. He learned to navigate without sight. He learned independence. But more importantly, he doubled down on music. If he couldn't see the world, he would create beauty through sound. His piano playing improved dramatically. His voice grew stronger and more controlled. By his teenage years, Andrea knew what he wanted: to be a professional singer. Specifically, an opera singer, one of the most demanding forms of vocal performance. Everyone told him it was impossible. Opera is an incredibly difficult field even for sighted performers. The competition is fierce. The training is intense. The opportunities are limited. For a blind man from rural Tuscany with no connections, people said it was a fantasy. Andrea's parents, while supportive of his music, were practical. "You need a real career," they told him. "Something stable." Music can be a hobby. So Andrea enrolled in law school at the University of Pisa. He studied hard, memorizing legal texts in Braille, attending lectures, working toward a law degree. In 1986, at age 28, Andrea Bocelli became a lawyer. He worked briefly as a court-appointed lawyer, representing clients in legal cases. But his heart wasn't in it. Every night, after working as a lawyer during the day, Andrea would go to piano bars and nightclubs and sing. He'd perform popular songs, Italian classics, whatever the audience wanted. He wasn't making much money. The clubs were small. The audiences were modest. But when Andrea sang, something magical happened. People stopped talking and listened. I was living two lives, Andrea remembered. By day, I was a lawyer in a suit. By night, I was singing my heart out in smoky bars, hoping someone would notice. Years passed. Andrea was in his early 30s. Most opera singers have established careers by that age. Andrea was still singing in bars, still unknown, still waiting for his chance. Many people would have given up. But Andrea's mother had taught him something crucial. Believe in yourself when no one else does. In 1992, at age 34, Andrea recorded a demo tape. It was nothing fancy, just Andrea singing, accompanied by simple piano. The tape somehow found its way to Luciano Pavarotti, one of the greatest tenors in history, one of the three tenors, a global superstar. Pavarotti listened to the tape, and he was stunned. "Who is this?" Pavarotti asked. "This voice is incredible." When Pavarotti learned that the singer was a blind lawyer from Tuscany who'd been singing in piano bars for years, he was even more impressed. Pavarotti invited Andrea to perform with him. This was an extraordinary opportunity. To share a stage with Pavarotti was a dream for any tenor. Andrea performed. His voice soared. The audience was mesmerized. And suddenly, at 34 years old, Andrea Bocelli was being noticed. Record labels started calling. Concert opportunities appeared. Andrea's career as a professional singer was finally beginning, at an age when most careers are well established or even ending. In 1995, Andrea recorded an album called Bocelli. It was well received in Italy, but didn't make major waves internationally. Then, in 1996, something extraordinary happened. Andrea was asked to perform a duet with British soprano Sarah Brightman at the farewell match of German boxer Henry Maske. The song was Con te partirò, Time to Say Goodbye. Andrea and Sarah performed it live in front of millions of television viewers across Europe. The performance was breathtaking. Andrea's powerful tenor, combined with Sarah's soaring soprano, created something magical. The audience was in tears. The recording of Time to Say Goodbye was released as a single. It became a phenomenon. It topped charts across Europe. It sold millions of copies. It became one of the best-selling singles of all time. Suddenly, Andrea Bocelli wasn't just a talented tenor. He was a global superstar. What made Andrea special was his ability to bridge classical and popular music. He could sing opera arias with the technique of a trained classical singer, but he could also sing pop ballads with emotional accessibility. He wasn't just for opera fans. He was for everyone. Album after album followed. Romanza became one of the best-selling albums worldwide. Sogno, Sacred Arias, Cieli di Toscana, each album sold millions. Andrea performed for popes, presidents, and royalty. He sang at the Olympic Games, at the World Cup, at historic venues across the globe. He collaborated with everyone from Celine Dion to Ed Sheeran to Ariana Grande. His crossover appeal was unprecedented for a classical singer. Performing opera and classical music while blind presents unique challenges. Opera is a visual art form, staging, positioning, interacting with other performers. How does a blind person navigate this? Andrea developed techniques. He'd memorize stage layouts by walking them repeatedly before performances. He'd coordinate with other performers, establishing physical cues so he'd know where they were on stage. Most importantly, Andrea turned his blindness into an advantage. Because he couldn't see the audience, he wasn't distracted by their reactions. He could focus entirely on the music, on the emotion, on the performance itself. Not being able to see is definitely a disadvantage in many aspects of life, Andrea admitted. But when I'm singing, I'm not distracted by anything visual. I'm completely in the music. His concerts became legendary. When Andrea Bocelli walked onto a stage, there was something powerful about seeing this blind man command the attention of thousands with nothing but his voice. People weren't just impressed by his technical ability, they were moved by what he represented. Here was a man who'd been told he shouldn't be born, who'd lost his sight at 12, who'd been told his dreams were impossible. And now, he was one of the greatest singers in the world. In 1992, Andrea married Enrica Cenzati. They had 2 sons together, Amos, born in 1995, and Matteo, born in 1997. But the marriage struggled under the pressure of Andrea's sudden fame and constant touring. In 2002, they separated. Andrea later met Veronica Berti, who became his manager and eventually his wife. They married in 2014 and had a daughter, Virginia, born in 2012. Both of Andrea's sons inherited musical talent. Matteo Bocelli has followed in his father's footsteps, becoming a singer himself. In 2018, Andrea and Matteo recorded a duet, Fall on Me, which became a hit. Throughout his life, Andrea has been open about his Catholic faith. He's performed for 3 popes and regularly sings sacred music. "My faith has carried me through dark times," Andrea said. "When you can't see with your eyes, you learn to see with your heart. And faith helps you see what's truly important." As of 2024, Andrea Bocelli is 66 years old and still performing at the highest level. His voice, remarkably, has remained strong and beautiful. He performs over 100 concerts annually. He continues to release albums that debut at the top of classical charts. He sold over 90 million records worldwide, making him one of the best-selling music artists of all time. In 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Andrea performed a solo concert at the Duomo di Milano, Milan Cathedral, for Easter. The empty cathedral, Andrea's voice echoing through the vast space, and the live stream reaching millions of people around the world in lockdown. It was one of the most powerful performances of his career. Andrea has never slowed down, never stopped believing that his voice has purpose. What can we learn from Andrea Bocelli's extraordinary life? Your beginning doesn't determine your ending. Doctors said Andrea shouldn't be born. He was born with disabilities. He lost his sight at 12. None of that stopped him from becoming one of the greatest voices in history. It's never too late. Andrea didn't achieve major success until his mid-30s. Most opera singers are established by then. Andrea was just getting started. Age is just a number. Disability is not inability. Andrea couldn't see, but that didn't stop him from mastering one of the most demanding art forms. He found ways to work around his limitations. Believe in yourself when no one else does. For years, people told Andrea his dream was impossible. He kept singing in piano bars, kept believing, kept working. Eventually, the world caught up to what he always knew. Mother's choices matter. Eddie Bocelli chose life when doctors recommended abortion. That choice gave the world Andrea Bocelli. Success requires patience. Andrea sang in bars for years before his break came. Overnight, success is rare. Usually, It's years of work before the breakthrough. Today, Andrea Bocelli lives in Tuscany, not far from where he was born. He owns a vineyard and produces wine. He's established the Andrea Bocelli Foundation, which helps people with disabilities and supports various humanitarian causes. He continues to tour the world, bringing his voice to millions. His concerts sell out within minutes. 3 generations of fans, grandparents, parents, and children attend together. Andrea Bocelli proved that darkness doesn't have to mean defeat, that disability doesn't have to mean inability, that dreams deferred aren't dreams denied. From a boy doctors said shouldn't be born to one of the most beloved voices in the world, Andrea's story is a testament to faith, perseverance, and the power of believing in yourself. So what's your story? What limitations are you letting define you? What dreams have you given up on because people said they were impossible? Remember Andrea. Remember the blind boy who became the voice the whole world wanted to hear. Your limitations don't define your possibilities. So what's your story?